Alright guys, welcome to Path of Exile. This just went into open beta. So what we're going to do is play around it. As you can see, all of the characters have been reset to level 1. I've played around on the Marauder here just for a few minutes just to test things out. I think what we're going to go with for this playthrough is the Ranger. Just because I want to, I guess. We've got a first look of this game from closed beta earlier on if you want to go back and take a look at that. I'll try to remember to put an annotation up right now. And you can go back and watch that. What we're going to do is play through everything. There's a new act, Act 3, at the conclusion of the open beta here. So we're going to play through, get to Act 3, and then we'll do probably another first look, kind of a follow-up after we're done. So the next few days you should see Path of Exile videos. So to avoid standing on the beach for 5 minutes talking, let's go ahead and talk to this guy.
We're all that made it. They dumped 24 of us exiles off that ship. Guess that makes us the lucky ones. Luckier than this poor bastard beside me, at any rate. Splinter sticking out of me? Missed all the important bits. I saw smoke at those ruins up the beach. Go get some help. And I might just...
You might just get your face ate off. What is the button? There's the pickup button. Hold Alt to show items on the ground. I've actually re-tabbed that, but it still shows you what the default settings are. Alright, so let's go through and arrow some stuff. I don't believe we have anything yet. And if you're not familiar with the game, very Diablo-like, you go through and you button smash your way to victory, pick up gear and fat loots along the way to make yourself stronger. And the way the abilities work in this game is you find gems and you equip those in the color sockets. As you can see, we just picked up a piece of gear. It's got 2 green sockets. We can equip green gems in those sockets, and those gems will have different names and provide different abilities that we can use as long as we meet the prerequisites in the skills. So we're going to go through the starter area here with boots and a bow and no abilities yet. On the Marauder, I got a red gem pretty darn quick. Maybe not going to be so lucky here. We'll play through this area and get to the little boss at the end of it and get into town, show you around there a little bit, and let this kind of be an intro to the series we're going to do. Plenty of guys to smash up. Everything here is pretty basic mobs, not a lot of special abilities and powers. One thing you'll notice is we've got the potions down here in the bottom left corner. Instead of having to pick up potions along the way, fighting and killing enemies refills those potions. And you can pick up different flasks as loot drops, and they'll give you different secondary effects as you use them. Let's see, this bow is 3 to 10. The one I'm rocking is better, probably. Well, one thing to note here, the club. I could switch to a melee club if I wanted to, even though I picked a ranger. Especially starting out, I'm definitely going to be stronger with bows just because of the way my base stats and stuff start. But you can eventually work your way around to do just about anything you want to do with any character class you start with. And you see it's auto-equipping any gear that I pick up that I don't already have a piece equipped for, which is convenient.
I'm still breathing.
There, we're level 2.
That's a good sign.
We're not going to spend that trait point just yet. We're going to hang on to that for a few minutes. When we've got a second to slow down, we'll take a look at this massive skill tree that's in this game. The passive skill tree is just humongous. A lot of you probably already know. For those that don't, it can be a little overwhelming at first. It's one of those things you don't want to go around just spending points just for the sake of spending them. If you don't have a plan just yet, you don't necessarily want to spend those points. You want to hang on to a few at a time is fine. Get an idea for the way the class plays, the way you want to play it. And then spend those skill points. That way you can spec yourself out the way you want to be instead of kind of pigeonholing yourself into something you don't necessarily want to do. There are respec points in the game. They're few and far between. At least they have been in beta. I haven't taken a look at the cash shop yet. I'm assuming you're probably going to be able to purchase some of those in cash shop. That would make a lot of sense, but I don't know that for sure. That's some of the things we'll look as we get further into this. You can pull up the little map here and kind of see areas you have and have not explored. Just trying to make sure we cover everything, get as much starting loot going into this as we can. It will make life a lot simpler. There we picked up another life flask, as you can see in the bottom left corner. It starts out empty, but as we kill some things, it'll fill itself right up. Still haven't picked up any gems. One chest is the only one I've seen, but that doesn't mean I haven't missed one or more. Oh, come on. Shooty, shooty, shooty. Keep stopping to hit the button to make sure there's no loot on the ground, because I've got it turned off to where it just shows you every bit of loot that hits the ground, because especially later on, too much junk loot laying around can get really annoying, especially if you're accidentally picking it up when you're trying to shoot something. Right now, as you can see, it's pretty much just point and click and just shooting arrows. We don't have any gems with abilities yet. You can see we just picked up Scroll of Wisdom. You'll be familiar with that system from a lot of games like this. Certain tiers of gear here will be unidentified. We'll have to use a Scroll of Wisdom to identify them and see the stats. As you become more familiar with the game, you'll get an idea based on what your class is and what kind of loot you're looking to identify, whether or not it's worth a Scroll of Wisdom to take a look. Here's the hillock guy, the little boss. And we're just going to kite him around. We didn't get any ability gems out here in the starting zone, but we'll be able to get one as a quest reward, so we'll pick one up pretty quickly. Just kite him around. Try not to let him hit us too much. Go ahead and use some health potions. That'd probably be a good idea. I have been known to die in starting zones before, so do not be alarmed if I do so here. Wouldn't be the first time I got distracted, wasn't paying any attention to a health bar, and got myself killed. Alright, so he's going to drop all his fat loot in the water. We're going to try to pick up pretty much everything.
That would only slow me down.
It looks like we can't pick up everything, so what do I need to drop? Let's drop this crappy. We'll probably get more stuff traded out of that. And it looks like it's probably all we're going to have room for to pick it up. As you can see, the familiar Tetris inventory system here. So with that, we'll head into town and check that out. Now, we picked that up to bring it in and sell it. There's not actually a gold system in the game. There's a barter system, and we'll get to that here in just a second. We need to talk to the NPCs first, and they're going to have some stuff to say, so I'll let you hear what they've got to say. Voice acting wasn't in the game last time I played.
Welcome to our home away from home, for what it's worth. I'm Nessa, that putrid giant you just laid to rest. That was Hillock. You're lucky. He's eaten stronger exiles than you. Don't count on that luck lasting. It's in short supply here in Rayclast. Still, you've rid us of a curse, and we owe you our thanks. Lionel's watch isn't much, but it's ours. We could use you here, while you live. But should you wish to venture out, do just one thing for me. Out on the coast, amongst the wreck, there must be a ship's medicine chest. I have many to care for, and there's only so much I can do with herbs and seawater.
As you may be able to tell from the voice acting, this is a New Zealand development company. So most of these actors have a nifty little accent.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, sell items. Here's what we were talking about just a second ago. Let's see, ours is 3-socketed, 3 to 10. When we put this in the sell window, they'll be offering us little scraps of things, and depending on what gear you put in and what level it is, it'll offer you different components. And what these do, you'll get little fragments of things. You combine those, and those make the big items like the Scroll of Wisdom or Portal Scrolls or Augmentation Orbs that can change socket color or give random enchants or just do all kinds of different upgrade type things to weapon and equipment. So we'll put all this in here. Put that one in there. Let's see. It's going to be it requires 17 intelligence. That's not for us. Another bow. A couple of wands. Useless, useless, useless to us. A sword and another bow. Picked up a lot of bows. And yet all we got was some boots and a hat. Alright, so we're getting in exchange some transmutation shards. Combine 20 to make a transmutation stone, scroll of wisdom, and some of the fragments that become scroll of wisdom. So we will accept that. Say goodbye to Nessa. And of course we've got these in our inventory, but we can put them in our stash. As you can see, my Marauder has already stuck some things in here. Stashes are account wide, as you're probably used to. So we'll stick that stuff in there. That way all our characters can get to it if they need it. Close that out, and then we'll talk to Bestel.
A ravishing ranger, relegated to rot in Rayclast. That's the first line of the poem I'm writing about you, Exile. Easy, girl. You could skewer a bloke with a look like that. The name's Bestel, captain of the good ship Merry Gull. Alas, my Merry Gull is gone. My crew is gone. But my wits remain, after a fashion. There's an island, a hop, skip and a wade offshore of the terraces. That's where my Merry Gull ran aground. Watched the locals spit roast the ship's doctor, but his medicine chest might still be there, amongst the splinters and bones. It'd have everything Nessa might need. Dr. Shaky Hands Opton was lousy with a scalpel and even worse with a saw, but he knew his apothecary. Explains the shaky hands, if you ask me.
Alright, so you can see he kind of introduced himself, and then he gave us a little quest. He's got some things you can just kind of get lore items from him about other things. We'll skip that for right this minute. You heard himself call himself the captain of the ship. This guy's got something different to say about that.
Hillock. Where'd you learn to fight like that? No, don't tell me. We exiles have no history. Dominus took it from us the moment his black guards dumped us in the water out there. It's just live or die now. Here, have one of these, and no need to thank me. I'm thinking of myself and the others here. The longer we fighters live, the longer everyone lives.
Decent voice acting. So here we get to choose an ability. We can choose a split arrow, fires multiple arrows at different targets. And some of these you'll see have will have different weapons requirements, like they can only be used for certain types of weapons. Dual strike, which is, you can see, an attack melee. Or we can get cleave, which requires a red socket. So we're going to take split arrow, obviously. It goes very well with what we're trying to do. And told you he had something else to say about Bestel. Let's listen to what he's got to say about him.
Bestel's a strange fish. Best taken salted. That hat he wears, plucked it right off the real captain's head. The captain didn't mind. Generous fellow had given the rest of himself to the scavengers already.
So some nice little information and some different takes on characters from other characters. Look at our inventory. So what we're going to need to do in order to use this is equip it in, we can choose any of these slots here. We'll just stick it in the bow slot. And that's going to give us a second ability that we can use more in my combat, the split arrow ability. As you can see, we can keybind it, we can put it on the other mouse button, or we can use it on any of the predetermined keys we've got there. So what we'll do is, as we kill stuff in the game, that gem will begin leveling itself up. And once it's leveled up and ready to level to the next level, it'll appear up here in the top right corner. And all you got to do is really just click the button, and it just kind of levels it up to the next level, and it continues getting stronger as you go, as long as you've got it equipped in a socket in a piece of gear that you're using. So let's take a look at this passive skill tree. We're at level 2, so we have 1 point. As you can see, this is what they call a keystone. This is the one we begin at for the archer. There's different ones, one for each class that you can begin as. And what this does, it starts you out, as you can see, some beginning stats. We're definitely more dexterity than anything else. It kind of starts you on a path that you can choose between two here, and kind of start down a path that's kind of rangery to begin with. But then, as you can see, you can eventually split off and make your way around. They're all actually connected at some point. So if I wanted to start out like this, and also be able to pick up, some nice spellcasting abilities and, some strength to use those, I could do so if I wanted to. If I wanted to get down into more of a melee-oriented build, I could do that. Lots of different options to choose from. Of course, based on what you want to do, you're a little better off starting with the class that kind of specializes in that. But you can take what you've got and just kind of go a lot of different ways with it. So the first two places that we can go with this 1 point is we can either go 6% increased attack speed, and that's going to lead us down a path that gives us more accuracy, melee physical damage, which we're going to avoid. We can choose projectile damage. There we go. And go down to projectile damage, and then there's extra dexterity bonuses there too. As you can see, you have to unlock one to be able to move on to the next one. Or we can go increased evasion, and go down an evasion spec, pick up some dexterity, some more attack speed, increased movement speed, which would be nice, bow damage and speed, bow attack speed. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to start out with attack speed. And then I think we'll go with accuracy and kind of get into the bow stuff and kind of head that direction, at least to start off with. I'd like to pick up some of this movement speed stuff. Maybe we can run into some later on. I'm not going to spend a ton of time just looking at every little circle in this tree, but let's go ahead and spend attack speed, because that seems like it's going to benefit us the most right now. Then we can close out of this, and we should have a little faster attack speed, and we've got a second ability here for splitting arrows. So let's go out and attack a couple of things and just look at our split arrows ability and a little bit of our increased attack speed.
I've not seen a wilderness like this before.
You can hear
There'll
she's
be
got
some dark days
some things
ahead.
to say. Alright, so we're out. You've entered the terraces. Now, we picked up a couple of quests, as you could tell, when we were talking to NPCs. And let me pull up. The world map kind of works as showing you which direction to go, as well as your objectives and your quests and stuff. You can see that highlights the little area we need to go to when we click on the mission. This is the one we've already done. Enemy at the gate. You've slain Hillock. These are the ones that we've got. So we've got this one so far. You can see the question mark shows a zone we haven't yet explored. It's highlighted. Besto has informed you that his ship, based on the Tidal Island, contained a medicine chest. Find it and take it back to Nessa in town to help her, medicine people or whatever. And also you can see there's another zone attached to this area that we have not yet explored because it's got another question mark on it. So you explore this area and find the little doorways to get into the next instance area. Every instance is randomized, so they're not going to be exactly the same every time. And we're going to have some more monsters, and in this area you get a little more into, you'll run into some occasional stronger monsters. Kill him. He was pretty tough. Alright, split arrow. As you can see, the ability consumes mana. We've got mana flask we can use if we want to. But for right now, we're going to kite and not die. And my Twitter feed is covering my health ball at the moment. I'm going to remember to turn that off. Alright, we've kited and killed stuff. We're picking up junk as we go, so we can trade it along the way using the barter system. Oh, these guys are just running right for me. And there's going to be a whole lot of this for a while. Taking down special enemies, regular enemies, collecting loots, exploring the area, trying not to stand in the fire. Every game ever, don't stand in the fire. And there's another small mana flask. It should auto-equip. So we'll adventure around for a minute. Take some things out.
The worms will have
Just
to
leveled
wait
up
a bit
again.
longer for this meal.
Use our split arrow for the multiple enemies there. Crude bow, we'll pick that up and see if that's... I'm assuming it's probably going to be about the same. The starter weapon is usually pretty decent for a while because it's got more sockets in it than a lot of other ones do. And a lot of more meaningful sockets than some of the other ones do. Yeah, I like it when I one-shot stuff. So here again, well, if enemies will quit spawning, we'll look at spending that skill point.
My mana is gone.
Yes, yes, yes. Drinking mana flasks. As you can see, everything is just refilling itself as we go along. Birds flying, making sounds. We're up against the ocean. Lots of nice ambiance. Lots of wands that are doing us no good. Something tells me if I was running a witch and wanted to use wands, I would never get a single wand drop. Come on, drink the potion. There you go. Alright, Orb of Alchemy. Where did that go? Upgrades a normal item into a rare item. So once we decide which pieces of gear we're going to keep for a while, we'll see about upgrading that. I'm going to hang on to that for just a little bit and see, just in case we pick up something pretty cool. Some of the gear we got is just kind of filling slots right now because we don't have anything else. There you can see our ability gem leveled up. All we can do is highlight over this, click it, and boom, we're up to the next level. Shooting the undead. Alright, let's spend this other skill point. Alright, we can go to accuracy, which is going to make us not miss as much. So that's what we're going to go with for right now. You don't have to do more damage if you can make more hits actually count. So that's going to be a nice pickup. And if I'm not mistaken, pull that back up. That was a percentage too. So if we gain more accuracy through gear and stuff, that passive is still going to benefit us even more and more the more accuracy we get through gear. So chest, scroll of wisdom, smaller chest, rusted hatchet, people to kill. Get some potions, alive and mana. Our abilities use a lot of mana right now, and we're not really a class that's going to do a whole lot of mana regeneration, but that we should run across some of the ability to improve our regeneration rate a little bit later on, and probably get some better single target abilities that maybe don't use quite as much mana but do more damage than the standard attack does. And I'm walking right into them, making their lives easy. Clubs, yada yada yada. Let's see. Jerkin requires 14 dexterity, gives evasion rating, that gives armor. Let's go with that. We're probably going to be using more green gems than anything, so the more green sockets we can come up with, the better off we're probably going to be. A lot of the red gems are going to have like strength prerequisites that we may not meet, and a lot of the blue gems are going to have intelligence prerequisites that we may not meet. We can probably set it up to use a little bit of those, especially some of the aura items we can probably find later. We're probably going to want to use, but for now, till we find something really awesome, we're going to stick with as many green skill gems, green skill gems as we can. And mana. And shooty. Oh my god. Standing in fire. Kite. Definitely going to need some slows of some type. That'll make kiting a whole lot easier when we pick up some abilities
that would only slow me down.
Add some slows or some freezes or some stuns or something. We'll get to it. We're just now getting started. there's a ton of different abilities and gems and stuff out there, so it's not like we're going to have a hard time finding cool stuff. We just got to play more than 10 minutes to find some of the best stuff. They just gave it to you. What would be the point of playing, right? Right. Arrows to your face. Oh no! Look, you see me panic and shoot the wrong way. Also panicking and hitting two flasks at once. That's okay. They can both just regenerate at the same time. Come on, you gotta give me something good for all that. These little dudes are so annoying, especially when they get to where you gotta knock a shell off of them and then kill them again. Split arrow, split arrow, split arrow. And our inventory is obviously full, so unless we just run across something super awesome. And let's get some mana, refill our health. Check dead corpses for loots. Nothing. Shoot guys that are throwing rocks at us because that's annoying. Some kind of like targeted ground ability that either burns or slows or something. That would be nice. Some kind of trap or something. Additional skill gems. We need you. We're not doing terrible amounts of damage with just the basic stuff we've got. We're not having a lot of luck with new stuff. So we've got a green and a red. That's got a green and a blue on it. Armor 8. What do we got? Armor 8. I don't see no sense in worrying about. We're going to drop stuff just to pick up that anyway, so. Now I could, if I wanted to, drop a portal scroll. I think I've picked up one or two. And go back to town and sell out my inventory. And then port back with an empty inventory. But for gameplay purposes, we're not doing that right now. It's a little less interesting to watch me port back to town and sell stuff. Got another skill point. As you can see, they're coming pretty quickly. Let's go 8% projectile damage increase. Close out of that. And are we anywhere near where we're trying to go? Oh, here we go. The Tidal Island. Which one is that? The one? Yep, Tidal Island. That's where we want to go to find the medicine chest.